Ladies and gents, welcome back. Probably the final episode for a little bit for the Premier League stuff. And we're here for a bit of a wrap-up. We've got team of the season. We've got our ladder review, which is, I think, going to be embarrassing more than anything else, but a big exciting nonetheless.
A few howlers.
A few absolute rotters in there, I got to be honest. We're obviously here on the last day of the season. Quick note on that before we get into it. Disappointing, I guess. Nothing. Again, we said it during the live stream. What we expected happened, but we're waiting for something to, like, some sort of
whatever.
event.
Like, it's funny, I mean, it had the potential to go down as like a great spectacle of a last day, right? You know, like there was like borderline shades of like 2012 last day where, you know, that was what was on the table. And then Phil Foden bangs it in 2 minutes. And it's just kind of like any sort of hope that there was going to be a bit of a, you know, memorable day, at least for non-City fans, went down the drain pretty quick and was pretty deflated because he absolutely rifled at top left. And we just sat there and I was like, well, can we turn this off now? Can we go home? Like, because I mean, they put that one away, then you put another one away not long after that. And
there was a little bit of hope with the Kruder spicy.
Suchek punching the ball in the net as well. That was
And then the audacity for him to bloody celebrate that. Like when he knew he just punched the ball in. But yeah, obviously Mohamed Kudus' goal was insane. Like, disregard, you know, obviously that gave a little bit of hope to us. I think we scored right before or after that as well.
Just after that, yeah.
But nonetheless, like the goal itself, like was nuts. You know, I was jumping off my bloody chair because that was so sick.
That was a sick moment. That was sick.
Man, he banged that in. It was so sick. But and across the league, like there was high scoring games everywhere, but it was just nothing with any jeopardy. You know, like Spurs won, but they stayed fifth. Yeah. Chelsea won as well. They stayed sixth. Like, you know, and the bottom of the table, which normally gives us a little bit of excitement when the league's been cooked by City the last few years, was dead as well. Yeah. So it was like, it was really top, like, you know, Premier League and a few European spots up for grabs, and it just wasn't that much going on.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, was there no changes or something?
That's the thing. Yeah, I had the live ready just in case I had to change, and nothing happened. So as you said, like Newcastle won and we won.
Yeah, because Spurs scored first day as well. Yeah, so it was like
Spurs scored straight away.
Yeah, don't even have to mess around with Spurs and Chelsea.
No, it's just
Spurs scored first.
It just stayed as it was. It was exactly the same. Villa had nothing to play for. Palace won, but they had nothing to catch up on. West Ham lost, but nothing.
Palace is a really interesting one going into the off season though, because they've ended the season on such a high.
Yeah,
and you got Ollie Glasner who's bloody cooking, and Palace apparently rejected a deal from Bayern for what?
15,
well, they won 100 mil. I think it was like 20 mil they got offered.
15 to 20 million
and they were
pounds.
Like,
and then they wanted 100 million euros, something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's mental.
That's a player signing from it. That's sort of the summarize of the manager moving this summer, but that's sort of where we're at.
When he is cooking that much though, and to be fair, there does seem to be a lack of like top quality managers. I mean, like it's probably like why guys like De Zerbi have got to move so quick. Like, you know, despite Brighton, they've finished 11th now.
They dropped off a little bit,
and
one win in their last 10.
And that's one where we were like really like, oh, they're still 7th, they're still 6th, you know, they're somehow above 9th, you know, proving everyone wrong.
Yet they
just come back to buy them, and they finished at 11th, which is underwhelming from expectation.
We look at when we did that. I keep coming back to that moment, but that was a pivotal point. I said when you said that.
It's like, are we going to see?
I think.
Yeah, I think that was 7th.
7th or 8th, because West Ham had just sort of slowed up a bit, and it's like, okay, if they can win a few here, they could get.
It's like they're not in form, but they're still above 9th.
It was like,
and there's a lot of good teams below them, because Chelsea was still like 12th at this point, and you know, there was two sort of alternatives. Like De Zerbi kind of gets his team going again, or they just stayed in the manner they were playing and they finished where they did. And yet, as we said, like De Zerbi has still managed to get that. Well, it feels like he's probably going to get that Barca move.
It feels like that's destined.
It feels like that's
the way just
if he's left Brighton,
like that,
he's going to a bigger club, right?
Yeah,
and there's not a lot on the market. It's like he fits that Barcelona mold in terms of play style, and you know, just like brings that sort of like a little bit of classiness to the job. You know what I mean? So
it's not aura, but it has that sort of like he can play that way style of football. Where
like De Zerbi has a bit of a weird aura for someone who hasn't done a lot.
It's not proven aura; it's just like aura that he has the ego, the confidence.
It's Italian, like, you know, baller aura. You know what I mean? Like it is
Italian manager
spiky hair, like spiky hair.
Because I'm going to be honest,
sweater.
I still credit Brighton's success to Graham Potter 100%. Potter's.
It has to be started yesterday.
Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah, he kicked him. He kicked
Potter
the season
left
off last season.
2022, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, start of 2022. And obviously had zero success. No, not even the start. He left.
The season to start.
Like, he left like 100 days into the season.
Something like that. Yeah, that season was
Because
underway.
I remember Chelsea posted, "Oh, the 100-day plan is going into effect," and it was like when Tuchel left. So it was it would have been from when the new management joined, 100 days from July 1st or whatever it was, and then that would have been like, October, November,
Yeah.
and they bring in Potter, and so he'd already kickstarted Brighton. They were already rolling, right? De Zerbi comes in, does what he does. They got a little bit higher. They finished well. I know that, but they didn't set. They did the opposite of set the world on fire this season. To be honest, they regressed big. And I know they lost a lot of players, but that is the state coming back to it of the managers in the league at the moment. Yeah. So you got guys like Glasner and then Iriola.
He got signed up now, so he can't go anywhere because everyone thought he was going to go back to Spain.
Yeah,
so Glasner, him.
There's a lot to watch over the off season now, but in terms of the league, it all ended pretty dull.
In the end, yeah. We'll talk about that ladder prediction because even next season's ladder prediction will be interesting with Palace and Brighton and something like that. Let's go straight into team of the season. We hold out for this one. I thought I'd cooked with the formation, but I ended up having the same as Jamie Carragher.
So I kind of ruined this for you.
Well, no, I was pumped. Thank God you told me because I would have came in here all this big ego thinking that.
Then I remembered,
yeah, I didn't realise Jamie Carragher had just done the same thing.
I think it was Carragher. I'm 90% sure
undermines my integrity.
Yeah, without gloating, I think I've cooked with the formation.
he feels it. He reckons he's
feeling it.
cooked. He reckons he's got these ones cooking up. We go 1 for 1. Go with your formation, and then do your first goal.
So I've brought out a FIFA formation. I've got the 4-2-2-2, 2 DMs, 2 cams, 2 up top.
Lovely.
Think it works really well with the players I've got at the 2 attacking midfield positions.
Spread the
players who can play out wide, but also prefer playing through the centre.
Get this guy with the tucks, mate. He's sideline stuff, mate. I like it. Who's your goalkeeper?
Goalkeeper. I think this is pretty straightforward. I've got Jordan Pickford in goal.
Yeah.
Most clean sheets outside of Arsenal, outside of Raya. Everton, although they only finished on 40 points, should have been 46 or 48.
48. No, 50. They had 10
Nah,
points.
they got 2 back.
No, 8 points.
48.
8 points.
Yeah, they might have got 4 back. That's why I was saying 46 or 48. So I think that would have put
finished,
around the Brighton area.
Brighton and Bournemouth. It'd literally be equal with Brighton and Bournemouth.
Yeah, so around the Brighton and
Would
Bournemouth.
they be above Brighton?
Equal with Brighton and Bournemouth.
But on goal difference?
Oh, goal difference.
I'm not too sure.
Below Brighton on goal difference.
Bummer.
Yeah, so around that.
That changed the season, though.
Yeah, and that it's not like they gone and scored too many goals, so they've been quite strong defensively.
Yeah.
And I think Pickford's been back to like not back to even, because I don't think he's ever been that good for Everton. I should just say more.
England.
He's just been playing his England form. Like he's probably shown like why Southgate has been picking him. He's probably also now warranted for the first time in his England career for the fans to actually call him the number 1, because every time it's been like, Ramsdale's been around there. I think
Ramsdale really put that to bed, to be honest. Like, and Pope's been
Nick Pope.
Yeah, the Nick Pope argument.
So much.
There was a couple of others, even maybe because he's been keeper since the 2018 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
that's pretty mental.
Yeah.
So Everton have only scored 40 goals this season, which is second last, only 5 more than Sheffield.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So like, and if their goal difference is -11, so they've obviously conceded 51. But in the scheme of things, they must have been so defensively solid to pick up any points. If you're scoring 40 goals,
and still technically in 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I can't recall them really battering anyone. They probably did, but that's pretty mental.
Yeah, so Pickford, I think, speaks for himself, especially with the lack of goalkeepers. Like, you obviously probably had, if you really wanted to think, David Raya maybe. He had to be in contention purely because he had the most clean sheets.
First half of the season, everyone had Vicario, but he dropped off like Tottenham
Yeah.
did. Like, you can't put a niner in because his first half was rubbish.
Yeah.
You can't put...
It was maybe
Ederson
like
and
Martinez.
Allison was injured a lot.
Martinez has been okay.
Maybe.
Pickford was the only one that
no
was
one really
consistent.
set the world on fire. Yeah.
Pickford was the only consistent keeper
Yeah.
that probably gave you 12 months. Whereas the other ones, you got Onana, who was good but gave you 6 months.
Yeah.
Vicario gave you 4 or 5 months at the start of the season.
1 month.
What a title.
Probably a bit longer, but yeah. Allison obviously is Allison, but didn't play really.
Yeah.
Injuries. And
So I got Pickford as well.
I got Pickford. The stat I found was 3.2 saves a game. That sort of summarises why you don't concede many goals. That's a lot of.
That is a good save.
That's a very good save.
Yeah, so it's not like they've sat back. Well, obviously they have sat back, but it's not like they've sat back and not conceded shots. 100%. He's had to be there and be that last line of defence as well. It's not a David Raya where they haven't conceded many shots and he's got plenty of clean sheets. Like goals would have gone in the back of the net if there was a lot of other keepers in goal. Pretty much. Look
at the watch on we watched. Arsenal had a lot of chances where it was like close half chance, but he made some good saves.
Yeah,
and it flicked off the referee as well. I'm pretty sure he flicked off.
We
the
all
referee.
got
Pickford. Yeah. Alrighty. You guys both went four at the back, right?
Yeah.
So you guys were your left back and right back.
Okay, straight up.
Yeah, just do both. I think it's a pair.
So I think this was for me the harder positions in the team because these, as well as wingers, but from my formation, I didn't choose wingers because they were just quite poor. I think this year. I've gone with Vardio and Pedro Porro, so I'll start with Vardio. I don't know if he feels that great for the whole season. He
had a slow start.
Yeah, had a slow start. Didn't start many games.
In
probably the first 3-4 months of the season.
Yeah.
But when you're going to go and score in a 7-game period 5 goals and basically put on Gundo's hat, he was quite influential. It was like when I was speaking before and I was saying, who are those players that were influential in their team, whether it was making Champions League, whether it was winning the league, whatever it was, making Europa League, whatever they were, you need to look at those influential players. And when it mattered at the end of the season, Vardy was quite influential. Although some of those goals did come in 4-0 wins and wins that probably would have happened even if he didn't contribute. I think how important he was, he cemented his spot as City's main left back, basically.
And he clicked when City needed him.
They need him to.
This time of year, with no guys like Gundo and missing those sort of guys that always turn it on this part of the year.
Yeah,
they found another replacement in Vardy. He was getting those extra goals on top of Haaland and the likes of Foden and stuff. So
and then I had Pedro Porro right back. I think the right back position was quite hard.
Weaker.
And there was a few options. So you had, if you wanted to go. You could probably go on Ben White and Konza as well. I think they were both quite good. Different type of right backs, obviously. You also had Trippier, who had a lot of assists, but as we saw throughout the season, he was quite mistake prone as well. Pedro Porro, 3 goals, 7 assists, pretty good from the right back position. And I think the reason I've put him in is a little bit like some Dalot.
A little bit of recency bias because he scored a banger.
Yeah, well, you've got that as well. But a bit like Dalot, they've always had that attacking output.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year, that defensive, he's been a lot stronger defensively. Pedro Porro has always been known as that guy that just, even last year, where he would just bomb on, but it was so, he dodgy. Basically looked like that player that would only work if they played a 5-back. But he's shown that he can play in a 4-back this year, which is quite important.
I've gone Ben White. So I've obviously gone Vardy all that as well, same reason.
Yeah.
I've gone Ben White purely because I don't think anyone really stuck out to me in the right back position.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that, there's no TAA this year in terms of putting his name up for team of the season. There's no there's no one with really that attacking flair who can also match it defensively.
Yep.
I know Porro has that flair, but it's not the same level to prime Trent and prime Jao Cancelo, whereas I think Ben White constantly doesn't get the respect he deserves in terms of his importance to that Arsenal team. Plays week in, week out. So reliable when it comes to fitness, versatile as well. Can play down the middle if needed, and he's kind of like the foundation which allows our attack is to have so much freedom, and obviously part of the best defensive makeup in the league.
Yeah, that's stuff.
But doesn't get as much credit as Gabriel and Saliba. So. Just deserves a bit of credit, so he's gone in my team.
Yours,
probably a little bit biased, but
best back for a reason. I'll go my 3 centre backs in, so I've got 3 at the back. So I've gone the obvious 2 is Saliba and Gabriel.
Is that the obvious 2? I've got him as well. Have you got him as well?
I don't, but I think it is obvious. I just
you shared it around.
Yeah, I wanted to more share it around. I can't just put both people.
No, but it's not. This isn't a handout. Oh, you've been pretty good. Gabriel and Saliba have been so clear the best 2 centre-backs in the
league. But you have to, the thing with me is, and I'm not saying they've both been as good as each other, but them in a partnership as well is
Well,
But I think that's the point, though. That's what I've always come.
That's why you've got him in my case as a 2, and you've got him
why,
both in.
and that's why, yeah, like all season you were on my back, and I was almost on my own back for saying, "Oh yeah, I've had like a combo."
Yeah.
And this time I had to go 3.
And he also, the reason you picked that formation is because you just could not put him in.
I could not put him in,
Yeah,
and I've had Van Dijk all year, and I've
No,
got
I
him
think
still,
it's fair, and
'cause I
I'm
had to get
happy
Van
to
Dijk as
take
well.
take a bit for not
But
putting.
I'm not on your back. I was on my own back all year because all year I've had Van Dijk and Saliba. But I had to have Van Dijk. I still felt like, and then I had to have the other 2. And I had
Gabriel
to have the
just needs to be in this team.
So for me, I had to have 3.
Gabriel
just could not have 3.
Do you have Saliba or Gabriel?
Saliba.
I'm going to be honest. I think Gabriel's had a better year than Saliba. Anyway, like even if it was out of the 2,
match rating,
Saliba's
he's actually had better match rating as well. Gabriel, yeah.
Like Saliba's like the Rolls Royce. I get it. He's sort of like he was the piece that kicked us into a top 2 team as well, right? He came last year and did his thing, but. Bro, Gabriel, this guy, not only does he have nuts attacking threat in a team, in the best set piece team in the league, right? But he also, this guy is just like, he blocks shots. He's got rid of that rashness in his game as well. But he's still aggressive. But he's aggressive. He's smart and aggressive though. And he's so good to watch.
I can't remember the last time he's made like one of those bad mistakes.
Yeah.
You know when you like lunge out and he misses it.
He used to make that anymore. He was cooks, man. He plays so well for weeks and then like give away a penalty at City. By snapping someone.
I can't remember the last time he's
Gabriel.
lunged.
I can't remember he's made like a bad. In terms of mistakes leading to goals this year, I can't think of one Gabriel's made. And obviously, I watch week in week out, and I really love this guy as well because he's been there for years now.
Yeah, he's been a part of the project. He's like,
yes, mate.
That is the project.
He's been there since Unai, I swear. Yeah.
But the FA Cup Arsenal team, that was Gabriel as well, right? Like that was when you won there with Arteta. That was still Gabriel. So he's come all the way from
that. Gabriel and Rob Holding, man.
The streets won't forget that.
Holdinho. Bro, Holdinho to Saliba, how far we've come. But yeah, Gabriel, I'm glad you.
I couldn't because I was on you on my back and I was also on my own back. And again, I put Van Dijk and he's different, but I've sort of been the Liverpool stand all season. But I still reckon he's been back to his, and the numbers are not like at his best numbers ever. But
is this VVD?
Yeah, but for like 9 clean sheets in a Liverpool team that basically played 2 at the back and all the problems they had back half the season. You take that sort of first 3 quarters of the year, I think he can almost go in the 2. I still think.
How long do you reckon Van Dijk's got left?
I think 2 good years.
Because my thing about Van Dijk is I've always thought he's like, Van Dijk's what's separated from the rest is like that last ditch tackle. Like he's always had these really long
lunge and the reach. Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know if I've seen that as much in him anymore.
I've seen it through part. That's why I've been sort of impressed. I've seen it in parts this season. And because he hasn't had, I guess, a settled partner, Konza, you've had Matip go down injured, and you've got Kanate who's been a bit up and down. Yeah. Like, it just felt like he stood up when they were doing well. Like, and I think throughout the whole season, he's done well for them. You've had Salah go in and out of form. Robertson been injured. Trent's been injured. Like, the centre midfielders have done well. I think that 3, McAllister, Endo, and Van Dijk.
He's a bit of a barometer for Liverpool's success as well, to be honest. Like
I think whatever he's going to do, he's going to do it.
He allows Liverpool to do what they can do.
So I think I had to get him in. I've been a fan all year. I feel like he's back to close to that sort of best form, 2019 sort of stuff. So I've got him alongside those at the back.
So that's our defences.
Yes, your 2 centre-backs, and who's your...
So I've got Saliba and Diego Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos.
Like, I understand. Probably,
it's just
looking at it, Gabriel should be, but I think Diego Carlos has been very, very influential in Villa's, again, push on. They obviously pushed on last year, but then they've took that next step this year, playing Champions League next year, finishing the Champions League spots, and I think Diego Carlos has been quite good. They've been a lot more defensively sound this year, Villa.
Yeah,
and I think I had to put someone in their back 4, and I didn't feel like their fullbacks have been great, so...
Yeah, well, Dinier's played his role, and to be honest, he actually would have made it a left back shout for a lot of the year.
Yeah,
I just think Vardy's recent form was probably kicked him above,
and because Alex Moreno gets subbed on religiously as well, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But look, no, Diego Carlos obviously did his ACL last year, I think. Yeah, it was out the whole year.
Whole season,
he came back this year, and he was insanely solid against us, and that was probably the closest I've actually watched him play. Was that game they beat us at the Emirates? That he was so good. So I understand it. I just think that
a bit of another planet sort of thing though. with like.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to look past
Yeah.
those obvious 2 or 3.
Yeah,
But it's a good shit.
shout.
I definitely agree with the Gabriel. I think the drop off, not the drop off, but drop off in Liverpool, the drop off in Van Dijk would definitely fathom him to be around the Van Dijk.
You would fathom him to be.
On the midfielders? I reckon we've got the same thing.
Would you do duo, I guess? Well, you've got a 3.
I've got a 2-2. I've got a 4, really.
Yeah, so you got a deeper lying 2.
Yeah.
Have you got
I've
a
got a
deep
deeper
line
lying 2.
Let's go our deep line 2 then, because I think it's all obvious. Rice
The
and
2
Rodri.
R's, mate.
Yeah, Rice and
The
Rodri.
Rolls Royces.
Rest
mate.
of recovery in the
I'm
midfield.
going to
Rolls
touch on
Royces.
this first.
Rolls
just
Royce.
because we were discussing before, and
This stat's ridiculous. by
Yeah,
the
this
way.
is ridiculous. So I thought everyone knew that Rice was quite good in terms of his goal contributions this year. So I was like, penciled in Rice, and I was like,
That's actually a good point to be
he
honest.
has 7 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah,
and
can't beat.
Is that what
straight
Rice- is that what Rice said?
Yeah, 7 goals.
Yeah,
8
7
assists.
goals, 8
okay, when you
assists.
say it like that, you told me this stuff before.
7 goals, 8 assists, quite influential goals.
That's
when you're
massive
looking
for a
at
holding
when
midfielder.
from a holding midfielder. He's been dynamic. He's been able to play that box to box at the end when parties come
Yeah,
in.
to be more
Five
freedom.
games.
And yeah, so he's been so important in Arsenal taking that next step this year, and I think he'll be influential in them. Well, you would say from an
Probably
Arsenal
12
point of
years.
view,
Probably for 12 more years.
yeah, for
Lock and load.
Arsenal, like probably winning. Well, if they can continue on, maybe find a few more stopgaps in their team.
When Pep leaves,
yeah,
yeah.
We'll win 5 in a row.
winning the PL. So he was like, okay, first one penciled in. But then I was looking and I was like, I knew the stat that Rodri hadn't lost a game this year.
Yeah,
So-
I think it's like 80
Yeah.
games or something
Same
ridiculous.
yeah, something ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? Because at one stage I was thinking of playing 1 DM and 2 10s.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I've got to put Rodri in. And I was like, Rodri gets in because he hasn't lost a game and everyone knows how important
And City
Rodri
win the
is.
league
Yeah,
and-
City win the league and everyone knows how important. But then I was like taking a deeper dive. And Rodri has, let's have a quick, 8 goals and 9 assists.
That's ridiculous.
So more than Rice. And everyone thought Rice, 8 goals and 9 assists.
With Foden, Bernardo Silva, and De Bruyne in front of him, by the way.
Yeah, but it's just like,
So
I'm
all
gonna
set
I'm gonna
aside-
frame this to say that these goals aren't as good, but all of Rice's goals, I swear, are so memorable. Like the header against United, like when has Rodri scored 8 goals? Like
Nah,
what?
early on in the season,
No, I
Rodri
know
scored a few.
he loves the banger from the top of the box.
That's what they all were
belch
pretty
his
much.
bottom
Belch
corner.
in,
He
yeah.
loves that.
They all
but,
were that. Like,
but that's just insane.
Last day of the season, he scored as
and
well.
even the last game of the season. And to be honest, if that stays 2-1, you don't know what happens.
And
as
he
well.
is also like when it comes to holding, like he is holding. Like he allows 6 players ahead of him to advance.
That's the thing, right? So, as I said, you got 3, probably I'll give you 3 of the best 10s in the world in front of him. Yeah, you have to be the last line basically between that massive gap.
Are you talking about like Bernardo as well?
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah,
All
was that in the 10?
Yeah, they're all basically 10. Foden,
Yeah.
De Bruyne, like they're all ahead of him.
Yeah.
Fullbacks push on stuff. He's that sort of last line between that massive gap in midfield and the back 4 or back 3 or whatever. And like we say, Rice scores big goals, but Rodgers always scored big goals as well. Like I know the game was almost over when he scored that goal, but he scores final day of the
just cements
season.
it.
Yeah, he
Just
scores
cements
belters after
It's
belters.
2-1. You never know what's
You
going
have
to
to
happen.
get
right?
that extra one. So we said it off there. Like you and me said it. Like Rice scored some belters and some big time goals, but Rodgers hasn't scored much different from that. Like he still does that.
And that was the thing, because with me, it was like, oh, Rodri just has to go in, like forgetting about the goal contributions. But when you looked at that, you were just like, damn, like that he undoubtedly, anyone not putting Rodri in their team. The same with Rice.
He's also
but-
missed a few games as well.
Yeah.
And they lost the games he missed. Like what's that? They lost.
They won
lost-
1 in 6. They won 1 in 6 and they scored 91 points. Hold on.
Something doesn't make right. Something doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
well, just Rodri there, they don't lose. So
But his
That's
his
ridiculous.
SoFA score
Crazy.
ratings, his SoFA score ratings 8, which is like the highest by like a 0.3 or 0.4. He's so
Crazy.
far off anyone else.
He averages 8,
8 on
rate,
SoFA, like
8 out of 10 a game.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
SoFA score
God.
like you're a good player for 7.5.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, they don't give
he
10
has
to
his
scoring a
time-
hat trick to
Yeah,
assist.
exactly.
he's continued on his form from the end of last season as well. Like
He's
he
been the same form out
he
for
isn't
3
a
years.
renowned like goal scorer. He isn't renowned to have a lot of goal
Isn't
contributions.
even form
But at
or
the
just
end of last season, he kicked
I
that
think it's
on.
just him.
I think it's
Go in the Champions League, go in the Nations League,
FA Cup,
FA Cup,
yeah.
goals at the end of the Premier League, and he just like continued that on to this season. What's he played? Let's say maybe 32 starts, 30
Probably.
starts.
Something like that, yeah.
He played 30
and he's
games,
got
same
something
with that,
like 17 goal contributions.
While
Was that
keeping one of
more?
the best.
No, it's
defenders.
mental.
17, goal contributions, which is from DM as well, where realistically,
He has
that,
no
that
expectation.
isn't
to
his
go
role
forward.
at all.
No expectation. I said it to you off air as well. If Spain weren't so young, people would put them as favourites just because of Rodri.
And just the lack of a
Just
striker,
because-
I think, with Spain.
Like,
Just
if you
lack of front
hypothetically
three.
had like one of the Williams brothers 5 years time from now, like in form and like renowned
Yeah,
striker,
and Yamal, like,
yeah, you'd be saying, oh, Spain's a fact just because of Rodri, because like that's what Man City got.
Yeah,
into
they're probably
the game
going
because of
under the
Rodri.
radar a little bit, Spain, to be
Yeah.
honest.
yeah, like they got Paul Torres.
They
Who's
got
kicked on.
okay players. Just that when you have Rodri there, you can't like you got to sort of bet.
So
in
what,
their favour a
Spain has
little
got the
bit.
best managers in the world, though, eh?
Oh, there's some
Like,
there's some
how,
cookers.
how clear is that?
Unai, Pep,
You got Pep,
Arteta.
Unai, Arteta, Xavi.
Xavi.
Like,
Um,
Even
mean-
though the Xavi situation, though,
I mean,
that's,
just
a
mental.
scary
That's just mental.
situation.
Like, you got 1, 2, and 4 in the Prem,
yeah,
yep.
and then you've got the Barca,
Who's second in La Liga.
who was second or
To
first
arguably
the
a
last couple
top
of years.
And then you got
Manager of all time.
PSG
Yeah.
manager.
So like essentially like a top 3 manager of
yeah.
all time.
Luis Enrique as well.
Carlo.
Luis Enrique.
Luis Enrique. like
Valverde is back kicking at Bilbao now.
As well, yeah.
Xabi Alonso.
Yep.
Xabi Alonso. Oh my god.
They're cooking,
Oh my
man.
God.
But just
Bro,
quickly on the
what's-
Xavi, I know this is completely
Bro,
off topic,
they've got Xavi,
but what's going on there? So they've
Yeah.
prayed for, they've like begged. Xavi said he was leaving,
Comes back.
and then they begged for him to stay. Like they begged, and then he said, "Okay, I'll stay." After he kept saying, "No, I'm not. I'm leaving at the end of the season." And now they're sacking him.
Well, no, because he had
Oh,
comments
Xavi,
about
yeah.
he had comments about the club and the ownership, which I didn't like. So that's why De Zerbi. That's why I think you said it. That's why De Zerbi, I believe, has been sacked because he's left because
Yeah.
he knows that job's now offered
no.
to him, so he's going to walk there.
Yeah,
Why would
yeah,
they beg for him to
100%.
stay?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because
It's some like power play they've done there.
What's their
We'll do it on our
CEO's
terms.
name?
Laporte.
Yeah, Laporte.
Laporte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Laporte or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
He's
He's
like,
a-
oh yeah, I
he's-
want to do
he's
it
a-
on my terms. He's like, I'm gonna pray for him to stay, and then I'm gonna sack him. That's probably like what he thought he
That's mental.
was a power play or
So we
something.
got okay. Going back to we got Rodri Rice next to
The
Rice.
R&Rs.
Pretty much picks himself Rice. As we same
How are we going
same
about
thing for
this?
Rodri.
So you guys gonna go? I'm
is-
gonna go 210s. You guys go 110.
Yeah.
Got 110. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all going to have the same sort of players in the top, but we'll go. Oh, you go 210s first. Who have you
So
got?
this is another one like the two DMs that just speak for themselves.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Phil Foden,
Yeah.
Palmer,
At 10. Yeah.
both
actually,
at 10. And
The
I
two-
touched
the
on
two-
this.
I mean, the two like player of the seasons, to be honest.
two
Like,
player of the season.
Foden, you know, obviously
Foden isn't
took
a young player.
clearly took a personal Foden, by scoring 2 in the first 5 minutes. But arguably Palmer was the player of the year, and obviously the young player of the year. So like,
See, I want to touch on that. So this flows on perfectly from my formation. So what I was saying before was
who plays on the left, Cam?
See, I reckon Foden has to take that left.
Yeah.
They both only got 1 foot, mate.
Actually, no, I'm going to take Palmer on the left because Palmer, I feel like sometimes does that whip back post, does that left-footed whip back post off the left where he gets at like corner of the 18-yard box.
Just does a little.
Yeah, so that
What's
little
up?
whip.
How random. But what's up with all the best players in the league having left feet? Like being left-footed?
Saka.
Haaland, Foden, Saka, Salah, Palmer.
Salah as well.
Bro, that's like 5 of the best
Anthony.
6 players in the league, mate. Anthony.
Anthony, can't forget brother Anthony, the eyebrow merchant.
No, but yeah, so
That is crazy. That is
This
insane.
works.
That's mental.
The reason this works perfectly is we've got the two 10s which with two players that can
Bro,
both.
he's trying to ban his Man
I'm-
United,
I'm-
man. Bro, he's trying to get the contract.
Yeah, with those two 10s that both of them are capable of floating out wide, but however, they
both
do
can.
prefer the middle, so that it works perfectly. So it'll be once the ball's on the left, one of them's going to float out wide a little bit, the other one's going to sit more inside, then you'll swap it over when it's on the right.
He's
this
inverting the
this
wingers.
This is like creme de la creme type stuff, okay? And I think both of them have been like outstanding. Pick themselves in every single team. Anyone that doesn't have them should really be checked straight to the doctors. Go get that blood test straight away.
be checked.
Okay. And like just looking at stats, everyone knows how good they've been. But Foden, obviously, player of the year, like Premier League winner, being the best player by far for City. Oh, maybe not by
most
far.
consistent player for City,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rodri's there
Yeah,
as
I
well.
wouldn't-
Scored
I wouldn't say
plenty
best
of
player.
crucial goals when Haaland was out.
Yeah.
So he became like that stopgap and obviously kicked on more from a stopgap as the season went on. Then you look at Palmer, like they were 12th on the ladder. They bring in Palmer basically as an emergency signing because he didn't play match week 1.
Remember the Saka, Foden, and who was the other one? Was it Mason Greenwood?
Yeah, Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
But that's another whole
But
scenario.
that's just funny, eh? Like that.
That
They would have all kicked on.
Well, no, because I think Saka gets a bit disrespected, to be honest. Like, his goal comps have been elite this
Well,
year.
at that stage,
But-
Saka wasn't really in the conversation. It was the Foden Greenwood conversation at that stage when we're talking
In that
about it.
COVID season, yeah. but-
Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, but Mason Greenwood isn't that he's flopped. He's just like done some very questionable things.
Anyway, that's just hilarious. But that just brought me back, like,
To the
how
days.
far these guys have come, mate. Like,
Yeah.
like that. That's funny, but yeah,
They
they've really
speak for
kicked on.
themselves.
Yeah, they speak. Yeah, so
I've got Palmer at
Foden.
10.
I got Palmer at 10 as well.
Yeah, Palmer at 10.
But one more thing, from Palmer. They were 6. Sorry, they were 12. He's pushed on to 6, and he has basically been the sole reason. We're talking like carries.
Yeah.
We're
It's actually
talking-
mental they finished 6th, to be honest. They felt so far down.
Yeah, well, when you talk about people carrying a team, Palmer has to go up as one of the best that I can remember.
Yeah, I don't really know how Foden can kick on. Not Foden, Palmer can kick on from this next year, to be honest. Like,
It's too high of expectation.
yeah, what
20 and
He just needs
like-
to continue and play the same, but also have
he-
players
he
around him that
plays-
helps.
The position he plays, he's always going to be on pens, so there's goals, and hopefully, his assists can go up by better finishing around him. But just the amount of goals he scored is just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how you match that up.
I don't think you can ever get something like that because Chelsea's team, how it's constructed and how it's supposed to play, like we've seen the last few games, he shouldn't get decent numbers. He should be getting like a 15 and 10 sort of year, like at his best, right?
Maybe more assists, but I would say like
a 10 and 15?
10 to 15 goals is like very.
I
would be
reckon he's
very
the only
good.
chance.
you-
What do you get? 22.
20. I can
Mate.
you get like
And
at least
10
5
assists. 22 and 10
a
assists.
season. So you'd think maybe 10 and 15, maybe the other way around.
Yeah,
Because you think
that
with Noni Madueke, with Mudryk, with whoever plays up front, or Jackson, they'll score the goals. We're seeing like,
we've got 3 players who are
Nkunku.
supposed to be pretty direct ahead of him.
yeah,
right?
he shouldn't be the ones on the end of a good
Yeah.
ball, on the edge of the area shooting. He should be playing that ball to someone else.
Mental.
So you're right. It's probably, he'll always be behind this season because this is such a unique situation.
He's always going to be a high output player.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
But he comes from City and
But
that's
mental,
the trend
yeah.
for. Okay, so that's our number 10. You had 2 number 10s. I've got 4 up top. I've got 2
I've got
wingers and
3.
2 strikers. You want to
You go with your wingers then first.
my wingers? Yeah, I got
You
Phil-
guys all do your wingers.
Okay, I got Phil Foden.
Foden on the right.
I'll put him on the left because I want to get Salah on the right because I think his goal contributions have still been through the roof. 18 goals, 10 assists, basically the same. He's got more than Foden in terms of contributions. He's a player of the year, and that's where I sort of came from. He was single-handedly riding that Liverpool train to start the season off, and considering he had a really tough end of the season in terms of not scoring the last 5 games, I think. If you score those 2 of those games, he's 20 and 10.
Yeah, I
30
just
goal
think
contributions.
that's probably the reason I didn't put him.
Yeah.
Didn't even consider him, to be honest. Is that I think like when it came down to it, when it was like push came to shove, Salah couldn't do it this season, right? So it's like despite having a lot of output, it in the end when it was needed, it just didn't happen for him. So that kind of took away from his season for me.
Yeah, you minus marks, yeah.
I would have had Saka over Salah in my team.
Really.
Yeah,
Is that the same
Like-
sort of debate though in terms of end of the season though?
I think you'd find that Saka's had a lot of output the last 5 weeks.
End of season?
Yeah, we've lost 1 game this year, Prez.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about him. He's
And
like,
Saka- I
like
know,
what he's done.
And Saka's been like pivotal to that, mate. So
Yeah, I'd put it down to Trossard Havertz. That's just me. I'm running Trossard
yeah,
Havertz.
Trossard habits have been there, but Saka, okay, scores 1 against 2 games ago against Bournemouth, and then I think he scored a couple against Spurs. To be honest, he scored 1 against Spurs. He's contributed consistently.
I know he's been a contributor. Yeah, I just think Salah over the season. I prefer Salah over the season. What he's done has just been because we expect it from. It's the same thing as like what we're going to say with Cole Palmer in the future.
Like Saka's got 16 goals, Salah got 18. You said,
yeah,
and then
the assists be the difference. So Salah's only got 10 assists.
Saka's only got 9.
So I
It's
think
pretty similar.
I just think Mo Salah in terms of I take his season as a. I know it's going to be because Arsenal came second, but I'd take Mo Salah's season as a whole and the play, and it's because we've seen Salah do it so many times of 25 goals.
The only question I have,
Expectations too high.
the only question I have there is, do you not think that the way, Salah gets the ball, basically playing as that right-sided striker, whereas Saka's getting a lot of the ball on the touchline, which is a different type of
This
player
came
as well.
That's
back-
why you've seen
this
probably
came-
Saka
you're
and
expecting-
Martinelli's output both drop.
Yeah.
But this comes back to that discussion we had 5 weeks ago about Martinelli and Saka, where they play themselves a football. So they're going to get different sort of, and both teams play
they've
differently.
changed a lot in the last year as well.
Arsenal a lot more possession than Liverpool. Liverpool want to get at you, high
Does
press you.
possession really matter? I'm just talking about
No,
the
it's a style
directness
of-
of the player.
Yeah, but the directness of play is down to the style of football the coaches implement.
But the point is, I think you're saying that Salah's more direct, right?
Yeah,
Salah
that's why he'd get more.
But I'm saying Salah plays more centrally. We know that like Salah basically plays as a striker,
Which helps his
Which
numbers
helps
output, yeah.
his numbers. Like
I'm not
having
down. That's
only
why I
three
have
more
you.
yeah, so I'm saying like have him having 4 more goal contributions or 3 more goal contributions.
I'm saying I'm taking him as the player over Saka.
Yeah,
as well.
that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
because I've had the exact same. You can say rule it out. It's the exact same season.
Yeah, neither of them have let the world set the world on fire this year. To be completely
They've both
honest.
had great. I think they both had fantastic starts to the
They've both been
season.
overshadowed by Foden and Palmer on the right and the left
Yeah.
and stuff. You know,
Yep.
like.
I think that, yeah, I think they both had fantastic starts to the season.
And for Saka as well, he's not even like top probably 3 to 5 in the team this year, in Arsenal's team this year. Like,
Yeah, I still think he's been
Odegaard's been
underrated
better.
in what he's done.
I would say Saliba, Gabriel, and Rice will be better. So it's like you got 4 players right there who've had better seasons than him in his own team. It's hard to really put him in that upper echelon
Discussion.
of players in the season.
Yeah,
If he
He
hasn't
hasn't
won
been there.
trophies and you know, yeah. So he's had they're both had great seasons,
Yeah.
but yeah, you've gone with Salah,
pick
obviously.
your pick. Yeah, So
My
who's
left,
your
I've
left?
gone. Oh, it's a bit of a cop out. I've gone. Double check.
You
I
played
did
a
this.
striker there.
Anthony Gordon.
I've got Ollie Watkins on the left.
Oh,
Yeah, I've really copped out here. And
could you not have just done the 2 strikers instead?
Nah, I
Could
don't
have played the 4
know.
people like him, but
I
guess-
could have, yeah, but you
took
stole
that.
that. It was a
You
good
cop
idea
it, you
from you.
cop
So
right on
I'll cop it. I've gone Ollie Watkins on the left. I to be honest, I wanted Alexander Isak, but I didn't realize the amount of assists Ollie Watkins has. 13 assists, like that output, just like number 1 assist player in the league. You know, it just speaks for itself. You know, he picks himself purely on the numbers.
Yeah.
So that was just the thing with me for Ollie Watkins and a bit of Villa representation as well. Like he's been absolutely pivotal to Villa being 4th, you know, getting Champions League footy. So it's just picks itself in that sense with the stats and the success they've had and the fact he's so pivotal to the way they play.
Yeah,
Plays every week, you know.
leader of the
Like
team
always seems to score against us. Like but
religiously.
so that's what I've got on the left, Ollie Watkins, bit of a cop out, but deserves to be in the
Yeah,
team.
get him in there somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had Watkins up top with Haaland as my 2 up top. I assume you have the same thing, Tots.
I got Haaland up top as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah.
So I had Haaland and Watkins.
Yeah.
Touching on that, I think you basically summed up why Ollie Watkins has to be in our team. Villa representation, been influential, 32 goal contributions. I think that's second behind Palmer, or was that equals first?
Second behind Palmer equal with Haaland, and
Yeah, equal with Haaland.
Equal with Haaland, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he was like straight away tick into the team. Haaland, I think it speaks for himself. I think his
Yeah,
expectations.
we said before he's a
have-
victim. He's a victim of like his own success, right?
But in the same
Genuinely.
way,
good, yeah.
in
Like
the same
27
way, I
goals.
wouldn't have a problem if anyone put Alexander Isak in their team, purely because I think when you look at Haaland had 14 goals, I think, by like match week 8, which is obviously exceptional. But then between him getting 14 to 20 goals, I'm pretty sure there was something like
He also
22
missed,
match weeks.
he missed a lot of those 22 match weeks, right? So he's had 30, he's had 29 starts.
Yeah.
He's got 27 goals.
Yeah, okay. I know,
like-
that's why I've got him in my team, I'm saying. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying is,
But
I don't
he's only
think
had 29 starts.
I don't think that anyone that put Isak in their team would be completely wrong.
No, it's one of those where like
What, he had 8
Isak,
goals by 6 game weeks. Yeah,
So how many?
8 and 6. He had 8 goals by 6 game weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what
And I'm
the
pretty sure he had
difference was.
14 by 10 or 14
No,
by
he didn't
11.
have 14 by 10. He
14
had
by 11?
9, 11, 13. 14 by 13. 14 and 13.
And then what did he score till match week 30? Probably like 3, 4
how did he go
goals.
in the last 8 games? That's what I want to
The
know.
last 8 games, he scored
Lots.
9 goals.
Yeah, so like, you know, when push came to shove, all their players turned up, as City
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
De
You
Bruyne
know,
came back.
Foden
to his
turned
best.
it on.
Yeah.
De Bruyne's back. Haaland's there. Vardy's contributing. Like all these players, when the push comes to shove for City, turn up at the right time. And like Haaland's just automatic now, man. You know?
Like the symbol was Crystal Palace, where like
Definitely.
where Palace took it to the first 10, and you're like, whoa. And this is where Palace started that like the whole revolution
Yeah.
all of a sudden. And you're like, oh, can Palace nick a point here or something like that? And then De Bruyne plays his ball to Haaland bags, and you're like, oh. And it felt like that was the moment where I thought De Bruyne looks like he's back, Haaland looks like he's
Even
back,
just
and
against
that's
like,
the season over.
Spurs last week. Like he scores, didn't even celebrate.
Yeah.
He just does this now. Like he's just automatic, and you know, like when he scores now, because he's been underwhelming this year by his own standards, he was always like kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, this guy, man, like
Just remember one
he will
thing.
put 40 away.
Postman
in the
doesn't
Prem
celebrate
soon.
when they deliver the mail.
but that's literally what he,
That's
literally
actually what it is, though.
Literally
Like he will score 40 goals in the Premier League next year or the year after. Like he's that type of player. He will score a goal a game, more than a goal a game, and he will play every game. And I'm gonna keep saying this: if anyone's gonna break Messi's score record, I know this is a massive shout, and he's not gonna have a lot of international footy.
You're crazy.
If anyone's gonna break Messi's goal record,
91 goals.
he had an underwhelming season, and he scored 27 goals and 29 starts in the Premier
Okay,
League.
27 goals.
He had-
We're talking
he
like
had-
3
he had-
times that.
And you're
More,
saying
4
and you're
times.
saying you wouldn't be surprised
Champions
if
League,
you're saying you wouldn't be
Cups.
surprised if people took him out of their team this season. He had an underwhelming season, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying if he scored 40 in a Premier League season, he's okay. Let's say arguably even he scores 50 in a Premier League season, which would be outrageous.
Yeah,
he's
but
not scoring another 40
Was
goals.
Messi's just with club footy?
Messi scored like 57 in Messi's was just club, and he scored 57 in La Liga.
I wouldn't be Haaland, man. I'm telling you. I'm just
Yeah, but then,
I'm just
then
gonna be honest.
so then you think he's
I'm
going to
just
go
gonna be
score
honest.
20 in the Champions League
I'm not-
and then score all these cup
I'm
games
not,
as well?
I'm not
Nah.
going to that extent, but he's one of the only ones not having a Euros. Who have a full summer.
Yeah,
He's come off
I just
injuries
think
this
if anyone
season.
is going to do it, I think he's the closest.
I think he
we've
could beat
had to be able
Ronaldo.
to do it.
Ronaldo had 69. So I think he can beat Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think
I think
definitely-
that's
Next season could be a
definitely.
big year. Could
I
be a
think
very
he
big
could
year.
beat 69. I'm not saying he will. I don't think he will. He could.
like
Messi's outrageous.
Haaland.
I'll take that to my
last year,
grave that I don't think that'll happen.
Haaland last year was putting everything away. This year, I sent him so many chances. I'm telling you, this guy is going to cook, bro. Like
It feels like
it's
next
scary.
season is back.
It's
Yeah, but,
so
like, it feels like-
scary.
If he has an amazing season, he scores
I'm not saying
45
I'm not
goals.
saying
He's going to score
91
60
goals.
probably.
But I'm
in the
saying
league.
he's going to go and
No.
score 40. Oh, he might
But
score 40 in
I
the league.
also say I can see him putting 3 past every bottom half team in the league.
Yeah, and a lot of the
every
top
week.
half teams as well.
Like, and that's the thing. Every bottom half team, and then a lot of the top half teams.
I'm,
you know?
like next season, I'm saying that I think it's going to be a gap's going to keep developing because like Aston Villa have Champions League footy now. We're seeing Brian have to come back and build through that.
I think we'll come back just as strong.
No, but I'm saying the gap between you two and the rest is going to be so much worse next season.
Like you got to remember how young our squad is.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you know,
can't see Chelsea are not consistent enough for me yet to put together a season. United are in the
I
mud.
think Chelsea will
Like,
really
Tottenham
come
will
hard to
struggle.
top 4, but I think you're right. I think we're going to see Liverpool
top two's
regress,
been
and then the gap
massive.
is just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Do you have a
They'll walk
feeling,
it.
not a feeling, but do you have any worries that you could be exhausted after the last 2 years? Like you've pushed so
Us?
hard. Yeah.
To,
You pushed
to
so
be
hard.
honest, no, because we're just so young. Like I just like
And they cruise a lot of games.
But it can,
I
fu-
just-
it can basically stuff you up mentally. Mentally, you're like, oh, we've
No,
done
no,
so
no,
much.
mentally, that's going to be a barrier there. But I think I think we'll overcome that, and then I think physically, everything else around that, you'll only suggest will get better. It's another year into all these young boys. Like they're all going to be like 25, 26 next year. You know, that is
stupid.
like 25, 26 is still relatively young.
Not even in the
Yeah.
prime yet. You know, it's-
You know, I swear Rashford was still a star boy at 25, mate. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, there's just they're gonna be coming of age in terms of like physically. It's another year as a squad. I think on the pitch, mentally, yes, that could be a factor. But you can paint that both ways. Have they learned more this year and they're ready to go even harder next year? Or, yeah, obviously there could be a drawback that they've been so close now in 2 years that they might be a little bit exhausted. But I think we'll be all right.
You think about mentally. You got Euros as well. All of them are going to the Euros. You're going to forget about this league. They're already on planes to preseason tours. Half these should have played.
mental, eh?
So you're not really going to be.
But yeah, I wonder
neglecting
what that regime looks like. Have they already gone?
Well, Tottenham already. They landed.
Yeah, Tottenham
in
and
Melbourne
Newcastle have already landed.
today.
They play like in 3 days.
What? So I don't get that. They have their pre-season game.
Yeah, because there's none after
Because
the
there's no
Euros.
Euros, and then you start based the season
They
again.
don't do tours after the Euros.
What?
And maybe if they do them like
It's
a
at
lot of
home.
players
It's at
won't
home.
go.
I mean, these guys could care less, eh? Like they could not care.
Matters got on the
less.
plane with like 2 suitcases. Everyone's saying, is he like moving to live in Melbourne? Because he's bringing the whole like,
Bro,
house
these
with him.
guys could not care less. I'm surprised they go on the plane. Just say you've done your ACL. Like, I'm getting stem cell. I'll be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, calf's gone.
I'll be back in Euros in 1 week. Mate, I can't.
But that's your point though. To the mental side of it, you just move on. You
Yeah, I know.
got a
It's
massive Euros to-
They go to Melbourne now as a holiday more
Yeah,
so
yeah,
than
yeah.
anything. These preseason tours for them, like they're going to go
But
around.
but these Arsenal guys, they have a week on the beach to party. Then they'll be out with Gareth doing like the Euros camp.
Yeah.
There's no way Bukai and all these guys are remembering last week because they'll be in Euros preparing to try and win a Euros. So they're not going to think about the last Premier League season.
I'm probably a bit in the middle, to be honest, between both of you. But like, I still think we're primed to go. Look, I don't know how we got here.
I think you're bettered. I think you're bettered from last season 100%. I think this experience is just getting more and more in the back to just go and fire.
The only thing I will say, and you can't blame Arteta at all, but if Arteta goes now another season next season with a trophy list,
but this is the Klopp debate.
I also, you know what I do?
But it's not. You have to kick off. I'm not saying necessarily he even has to win the Premier League.
Without a trophy.
Without a trophy.
They still won't sack him. If we say second, unfortunately, if we stay in the exact same spot, they still won't sack him.
But does it not questions start to revolve?
But who could do better?
I'm not saying he could. No. But it's like those questions that are...
questions... No,
it's like, can he take you to that final? He's done so much. Arteta will go down in your history of doing a lot for this Arsenal. Yeah. Like, this new wave of Arsenal. Yeah. This new generation of Arsenal. Like, best manager in a while for Arsenal. Being probably... better than Arsene Wenger in his last 7-8 years as well. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying these questions are here now because they're not. But if he goes another season, those questions are, can they, because we know now that Arsenal got the squad, we know they got a young squad. It's a bit like those, they need to then start to take that next step. Whether it's not even needs to be a Premier League, but it's got to be an FA Cup at least.
But you look at this season, you drew Bayern, who just play with passion.
Yeah. You drew Liverpool as well.
You drew Liverpool at their peak of their powers in the FA Cup. Who cares about the Carabao Cup? Like, you've got so unlucky with how they got knocked out. If you look at the season as a whole, and I'm trying to be so take it out like the United, they lost to Bayern when they had the best 5 weeks of their whole season.
Lost one game this calendar year.
You lost to Liverpool at the peak of and no one was injured in that Liverpool game.
When it comes to peaking in the right time. I know we lost a game, but we've lost one game this calendar year. Like, we've peaked at the back end of this year,
Forget Premier League. Because it's still impressive. Yeah. It's still impressive, but we know Liverpool have done that and still lost. Yeah. Cup football, they focus so much on Champions League. That was a new thing. Hadn't been there for a while.
Okay, but do you think they have to make a semi-final or a final of a Champions League next year?
But I think they could because they've had the
experience.
It's not
I'm saying if they didn't. If they let's say they got knocked out again at the quarters.
I don't think go anywhere
and finish second. It doesn't matter if they finish second by goal difference. They finish second.
I don't think you even ponder it. A question like that.
Yeah,
because who's going to do that?
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp, who I put up there on a pedestal, has done one of everything.
Did the Premier League and still did the Champions League. Yeah, and he did it pretty. Like, this would probably be the season coming up when he roughly did it or made a final at least.
I think in his 4 seasons he made the Champions League final and lost.
But Arteta could easily go and just focus on FA Cup and walk the FA Cup. Yeah. But he put out a semi-rotated squad against up and about Liverpool.
But that's all right. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's going to get sacked. He won't get the sack.
My issue...
Are you going to that following season dodgy?
I don't think
Are you going to that following season dodgy?
No. My query with the whole thing is that I hope for Arteta's sake and Arsenal's sake, they can win a league while Pep's still there.
So it doesn't discredit the whole,
because otherwise it's forever going to be framed as, he couldn't do it with Pep.
The Mickey Mouse.
You know what I mean? So it's as in, I think Arteta really wants that because I think who's going to care about that more than him? No one. He's Pep's prodigy, man.
Yeah.
He needs to beat him.
He wants to beat Arteta.
Like, the worst thing for Arteta's probably in his head for him would be to never be able to beat Pep. And it's been 2 years now where he's been so close and hasn't got there. I can't see us dropping the ball, mate. Anyway, we've somehow
this way. I'm not saying he's getting the Haaland.
Yeah.
I was just saying you'd go into the 25, 26
and I say no.
I say
no.
On edge.
And I say no. I said you couldn't go near on edge.
No, I don't think on edge. I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Run through your teams quickly, and then we've gone over a bit.
So in goal, Pickford, left back Vardiol, Diego Carlos and Saliba at centre back. At right back, Pedro Porro. 2 DMs, Rice and Rodri. 2 10s, I've got Palmer and Foden. And 2 up top, I've got Watkins and Haaland.
Pickford, Vardiol, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, Rodri, Rice.
Yeah.
And then Palmer ahead of them, Foden, Haaland and Watkins, as normal
dynamic.
Down the left.
Yeah. And I went Pickford, Verge, Saliba, Gabriel with Rodri and Declan Rice in front of them. Cole Palmer down the middle, Foden off the left, Haaland and Watkins up top with Salah on the right.
Okay.
Now, we went way longer than I thought, but we'll quickly over
this segment's pretty easy.
Yeah, we can just
talk about
this is just exposing.
About the main queries.
Yeah. You know what? We could do this. Quickly run through
differentials?
different. We'll go one by one in differentials in terms of the whole thing, and then we can talk about our differences.
So how are we going one by one though? Because I've done it based on the predicted. So
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. So
Just
you
say
do.
the total number, surely.
Yeah, so you
I'll go through the whole thing you're saying.
Okay.
just say your predicted ladder versus the
Yeah,
actual
we'll say
ladder.
how the segment works.
So this is how all other YouTube people do it. It's like we put our predicted ladder against the actual ladder, and your differential from when you predicted to your actual points adds total to your value.
Yeah, okay.
The higher points loses.
Okay.
So it's one for each increment away is
Is
one
plus
point,
one to the point
and
total.
then obviously the least points wins.
And you're the best ball knowledge, and you are the king of the
Okay,
chat.
so
There you go.
I've gone City and Arsenal, which are both perfect.
Yep.
Then I did United at third, which is a +5.
Yep.
Then I had Chelsea at fourth, which is a +2. Liverpool at fifth, which is a +2. Newcastle at six, +1.
Yeah.
Villa at seventh, +3. Tottenham at eight, +3. And now this is where the dodgy one comes in. Nottingham Forest at nine,
Wow.
+8.
You didn't have. I swear we all had Brighton at 9.
I had Brighton at 9th.
No, I didn't.
That's mental.
Then I had West Ham at 10th, which is my
Bang
one
on
of the
West.
season, like one off. And I remember when I did the predictions,
Forest.
well, I remember when I did the predictions, I was considering whether I did West Ham or Forest at 9th and 10th.
Yeah, yeah.
Went the other way around, which is unfortunate. Well, it doesn't really matter for the Forest side of
Yeah.
things. Brighton spot on at 11th.
Far out. Yeah, you nailed that. bit.
Fulham at 12th, which is one off.
Yep.
Burnley at 13th, so 6 off.
Yep.
Crystal Palace at 14th. No, sorry, I'm wrong. Brentford at 14th, which is 2 off.
Yep.
Palace at 15th, which is 5 off.
Yes.
Everton at 16th, which is 1 off.
Yep.
Bournemouth at 17, which is 5 off. And then I've got Luton perfect.
Yep.
And Wolves at 19, 5 off.
Yep.
And Sheffield United perfect, which gives me a differential of +50.
Plus 50.
Plus 50, mate. That's stinking. That's 2.5. That's 2.5 a spot, like. So I've surprisingly beat you here. I don't know how this has happened.
You've beaten...
Well,
Well, we won't say anything yet, but...
I've surprisingly beaten. I don't know how this has happened, but so I'm biased. I've gone. I had Arsenal and City.
Yeah.
One
Other way
two.
around. Yeah.
That's +2 in total.
Yeah.
Chelsea in third, +3. They just slightly had it. They had a slow start to the year. Couldn't get there. Liverpool fourth, +1, so they weren't far
Bad.
away.
Yep.
United fifth, +2.
That's worked out all right.
Newcastle in sixth.
No, United at 5th is +3.
Is it?
Yeah, we finished 8th.
It's 8, yeah, 3.
Oh, sheesh.
No, he's counting wrong. He's counting wrong.
We're getting closer to the victory. We're getting
Is it-
closer
is
to the
it- is
victory.
They
It could be
finished eighth.
8, yeah, 6, 7, 8, yeah.
What did Newcastle finish?
7th.
7th.
Okay. Okay.
He done the whole thing.
Newcastle in sixth. That's +1.
Yep.
Villa 7th, +3.
Yeah.
Spurs 8th,
Plus 3.
+3. Brighton
Plus 2.
9-2. Fulham 3.
That's good.
So I had
Yeah,
Fulham
that's a good
10th.
shout.
Palace at 11th, +1.
That's a great
That's
shout.
crazy.
That's a great shout. Ball knowledge is
I
the
was
roof.
conned here, bro. Burnley 12th. It's
Look,
+7th.
quickly, I was hyping them up. I've got them the lowest out of all 3 of us, even though I was the one hyping them
Bro,
up.
I don't know what happened here. You know, I didn't believe it at all at the time. No one's gonna believe me, but I didn't.
You know what I reckon you
know-
did? You must have worked down and up, and you just had 12, and you're like, oh, I'll just whack it in there.
Well, I just like did not believe it at all. But I was like, oh, someone's gonna have to do it. You know, something's
So
gotta
who's
happen.
the Fulham
right?
of this
You know,
year, isn't it?
Come on, like some. And I was like, okay, Burnley.
Vincent Company to FC
Forest
Bayern,
13th +4. West Ham 14th +5. Wow. I had Everton 15th. To be honest, I probably got a bit lucky there with the points deduction.
Hey.
Brentford 16th.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you've got more lucky there. Oh no, you've got less lucky with Forest because of the points deduction. So that's a bit stiff.
Yeah.
Brentford 16th, which is 0 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolves 17th +3. Bournemouth +6. I had them 18th. And
Yes.
then Luton and Sheffield, so that's +1.
Yeah.
So,
So you got
that totals me at
48.
48.
So 2 off me.
Yeah. So I'm in ahead by 2.
And
So United's probably
I
killing
have
me.
not gone well at all. I went Man City,
can't believe
Arsenal, and Liverpool. So all perfect top 3.
Wow. Started strong.
I've got Man United in 4th, who are +4.
Oh.
Chelsea in 5th, which is +1. Newcastle in 6th, +1. Villa in 7th, +3. And Tottenham in 8th, +3. So it's very, very, very
We
similar.
all had
So
that.
you had a good front top 9.
I had a very good
You had
top.
the best
He
top
started
9.
strong here.
But my mid-table is where it all went to shit.
All unraveled, eh?
So Brighton 9th, 2 points. Again, not bad, but then this is where it goes crazy. Nottingham Forest in 10th, which is a +7. Brentford in 11th, which is a +5. Fulham in 12th, +1, not bad. Crystal Palace in 13th, plus the rest. That's we always think Palace is.
That's
13th.
so stiff.
Yeah. Burnley in 14th, +5.
Sticky.
Even Bournemouth, my boys, 15th, +3. And this is where it goes pear shaped. So
Hey, where's Bournemouth finish?
they
Oh,
finished
11th.
11th. Yeah. No, 12th. So
12th.
that's the +3,
Okay.
yeah, for
Yeah,
15th.
yeah.
So 16th had West Ham, which is a +7. So this is where it all sort of
Yeah, it's stiff.
unravels. 17th, West Ham, which is +2. Wolves 18th, which is +4. Luton 19th, +1. And then Sheffield perfect. So my top 7 is basically the same, or probably better than
And
you
what
two.
did you...
And I finished on 52.
Oh,
nice.
so 2 differential everywhere.
Everyone's differential. So
Who's the
Flynn
dope,
is
mate? I don't
certified.
know how I've done that.
Or
Yeah, I
Norwich.
think
I was
my
so
United
scared.
bias has killed me.
I did this at home and I was but I'm gonna say it's even better because I've put Arsenal and City. That's +2 on that as well. So that's 46, man.
Yeah.
Like
Well, let's say
No, not really, because then I did the United one, which was United biased really as well.
Okay, well,
So it cancels each other out.
so. My falling points were Forest and Brentford, having them 10th and 11th, and West Ham in 16th, which got me 7 more points. So that's 19 points in 3 picks.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what felt. What
think we
were
all had
the
the
ones
same
that you
stinkers.
sort
All
of?
of our
Yeah, well,
things.
my Forest had 8.
We
which
all
is the
cooked
thing that killed
Burnley.
me.
I didn't actually cook Forest that bad. I cooked Bournemouth,
Yeah.
which started so well, but then it really
So,
took it
yeah, I
personally.
cooked Bournemouth and I cooked Wolves.
Oh, actually, I could Wolves as well. Yeah, so that's 4
West
points.
Ham,
for me.
Burnley, and Bournemouth were my bad ones. I had Wolves 17th, not great.
It's crazy how you look
Forest
back at it
were
now, it
great.
looks so stupid. But at the start of the season, like Forest, all these signings.
I mean, West Ham had just come from like
I just
16th.
thought Forest had to kick on.
Steve Cooper,
I
good
thought,
manager,
I thought they
like-
did a bit
Yeah.
like where they had all those signings and they just didn't gel that first
If
season.
you told me Chris Wood was going to end up being like one of their players of the season, I
Yeah.
probably would have taken this down a notch. Eh?
No, and if you tell me that Steve Cooper was sacked as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, that's what I
I
think
had
as
big
well.
raps on the Steve Cooper. I was very
Yeah, it was just a
definitely
weird one
fan
with
of.
Forest because it was like they had all the signings, but they didn't gel. And I was like, oh, pre-season under their
Yeah.
belt, they got good players. They're going to come together. They brought in a few good players as well, like
Like if you
Diabanga, Hudson,
like
and
if you told me Company was still there at this point in the season,
Side note, he's linked to Bayern right now.
what?
That's the world we're living in.
That's
They're willing to
how do
pay
you
his
get
release clause
relegated.
to go to Bayern.
that's insane.
You continue, but I read that this
But
morning.
yeah, it's just like if you told me Company was still there at this point in the year, I would have said, "Oh,
With where they're
I'm
sitting,
probably
I'd say.
not too far away here."
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
well, they're probably up. you know.
Yeah. Not
Don't think
doubt.
don't think they're going to be down and like scraping, buddy.
Yeah.
Like even a chance. I
Yeah.
mean, Jesus
We've
Christ.
got to remember these predictions and see if we can better them next year. all of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, we'll do that. So
100%.
that's a good one. I'm keen for next year's one.
Yeah, being on and Wolves as well. We all because they had no signings. Then Gary just came in.
There's a lot of things we didn't factor in, to be
Well,
honest.
well,
eh?
Gary hadn't come in at this point.
Yeah,
They were still looking for a
Yeah.
manager at this point.
Well, Wolves and Bournemouth Wolves had no manager, and Bournemouth just signed.
We didn't know much about Ariel.
Yeah, well, I didn't. You did.
I did some research about him, but I didn't know much. I've never
okay.
seen him play. I just
Yeah, so I didn't know enough about him. I was like, oh, to go sack Gary O'Neill. It was huge. So, well, I think that was both of our
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
processes. And we're also like,
and I had a vendetta against Bournemouth. That's why I
Yeah,
whacked
you
them
hate
down
the
there.
club. Just hate the players at the club.
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully next year we'll do it and we'll be a bit more accurate, all of us. Maybe try to aim around the 40
Well, what I'm
mark.
going to not do next year though is just like
It's blind faith.
it's just like
Leicester 12th.
Yeah, I'm gonna give some credit to the
Nah,
championship
see, I'm
here.
gonna give
I'm
you-
a championship casual,
Leicester,
but I'm gonna
you
back
have to
him.
give out. I don't think I'm going to relegate Leicester.
I'm not, but how far do you go with Leicester? That's
And
the
it's
thing.
also like, look at the gap between. There's probably 2 Premier League teams that have sat like Brentford and Forest are the only ones that were remotely close to relegation.
Yeah.
Like they were the only ones remotely close. But I guess you could say because we think the teams coming up are a bit better than the crop going down. Like Leicester, who else is coming up? Ipswich, a bit of a.
And even
bit of a
then,
20th.
Southampton, I don't think they've got Premier League quality at all. If they come up versus
They're a bit more of a Premier League club, Southampton. So I wonder how far that gets you.
or Leeds as well. If Leeds come up, I have a bit more faith.
Look,
Homegrown advantage.
Leicester, I think we're all going to say at this stage are probably going to be the one that stays up for us.
15th, 16th type.
Just try to love
yeah.
their
Even Leeds,
you
they
love
had
their-
a lot of players.
You got to
Like,
love
a lot
their
of good
ownership
players.
as well, Leicester. You got to
Yeah,
love their
that
ownership.
kid,
You get them pretty. It takes you pretty far. So, well, we're doing early previews here, but not a great result from any of us, to be honest.
And then what we think about next year as well, like Liverpool, if how like Slot goes.
How bad are they going
Oh,
to
you
be?
did
Like,
Klopp's chant. He was like, no, Slot.
nah, I mean the Liverpool thing
Yeah.
really early
Where did
calls, but
Liverpool
that's
go?
going to be like when we do our
Impossible.
predictions, it's going to be like, oh, how far do they drop?
Yeah.
And they could not drop at all. Like, you know,
Well,
they still have the same players.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
no
not
plot.
necessarily. They're losing Matip. I
They're
mean,
losing
wasn't
Salah.
and they're going to lose Salah.
obviously.
And they don't really have goal scorers.
That's not really. I think they have an abundance of goal scorers.
If Joshua
Gakpo,
stays fit.
Jota, Diaz, Nunez.
Oh, Nunes is such a good goal scorer.
Well, they've got the
Still bags
quality
like
there
double
though.
digits,
It's
though.
just like, can they
Did he
actually?
score 10 goals this season?
I think he did 12 or something.
Can they perform to what they're supposed to be able to?
It was
do?
supposed to. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
he's
the big
supposed to do
question
it.
with Liverpool. But
The Chelsea
Yeah.
comeback and stuff like that. It's a lot of next year. I
I
think
reckon
it'll be very interesting.
Klopp's just going to leave his handbook to Arne Slot and just play the exact same way.
I don't know a lot about this guy either. Is he
I
a bit of
don't
a
think it's exact same style of football he likes to play.
what's the early memo?
I think it's a 4-2-3-1 type beat.
4-2-3-1.
So,
Darwin Nunes on the end of
he's
the one.
on.
Eh? Oh,
Yeah.
a bit scary.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
That wouldn't really work with Salah either way.
That's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
mate,
yeah.
I tell you what, I don't love Darwin Nunes being the end of a 4-2-3-1. Like,
It's a bit of Eric Ten Hag's this year is like bold and stats
what
of football as well.
how do they set up for that? They up top.
Well,
I
the
mean.
midfield looks good. The
Yeah,
number
but
10
up
looks
top,
good.
Who plays 10?
I think
So
Szoboszlai goes right back in there.
Yeah.
Or you put
And-
Harvey Elliott and progress him to the number 10.
Like even
Him number 10.
Diaz as like a
No, I
left.
think Diaz can work at the left midfielder.
In my head, Diaz is just a left winger. I want him on the touch line. I want him on the byline.
he can still
Yeah.
beat that though.
Yeah.
He runs more defensively, which is good.
In my head, I'm just thinking like, oh, you want 3 sort of attacking mids, but that's not really the reality. You just want you want a winger that gets a bit deeper.
You want that wide winger that can just go and defend. The right side would be the problem though. If Salah doesn't,
I mean, this guy's Dutch. Gakpo probably gets a good look in, eh?
Gakpo up top.
I don't know where.
Try and find that World Cup form.
Gakpo at
Gakpo.
10.
I think Elliott or Szoboszlai
deep
plays 10.
lying with like Mac next
He
to him.
can't drop Endo. Endo was like pivotal.
Oh, this guy will make changes 100%.
Oh yeah, he'll bring in his
I
own
don't
folk.
think you do.
He'll bring-
I think Endo's a very likable player for a manager, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
works hard.
yeah, just like plays that. He's just that type of player.
Doesn't overcomplicate anything. Just does the job.
But yeah, there's a lot of players are gonna be like, new managers always do this at big clubs. Like, who's gonna be outed straight away?
Who's a Ronaldo?
Like, yeah,
Which would
I
probably
mean,
be Salah,
which will be Salah.
If he's not already sold by
yeah,
then,
Salah will be the one that.
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, everyone loves to play like high press and tracking back footy.
No
Salah's
chance
not
Salah
going to do
works.
that.
No. Not in a 4-2-3-1. Not in that stuff. No
so
chance.
he's going to be cooked if he stays,
Yeah.
regardless. But
If he stays, they
interesting.
play him up front, like on his own, just one out. He has no physicality, but
I think if you're Arne Slot, though, you're building for the future.
you bring in a new guy.
You don't play Mohamed Salah up top for a year.
The Liverpool wish
a
they
year
got
or
that
two.
180 mil.
Well, obviously now we
I
say
mean-
that, but at the point in
No,
time,
but
Liverpool was still
I
cooking.
said at the time it was terrible business to turn that down.
Yeah.
That's what I said as well.
I'm going to be honest. That is the most short-minded, terrible ownership I've ever heard. I mean, like you have a pretty good gauge that. Well, firstly, he's 32 or 33 or something, right? That they weren't really ever going to win the league. I'm sorry, I know that's easy to say, but this, in my opinion, this was always going to happen. Like they didn't have the same legs and the quality that Arsenal and City had, and they ended up gapping them by how many points? Like only 5, right? Yeah. But I just didn't think Salah 180 mil was worth going all out for the Prem. I know it was hard to do, sell him, but 180 mil
What you could have done
For
with
a
that 180 mil,
33-year-old.
think about it.
for a
Well,
33-year-old.
Slot would be laughing as the next
Yes.
guy.
Can they sell him anymore? Like, what do you get for him now?
I think he can get 100. I think he can get 100.
See, I think I know he was 180 mil was incredibly overvalued in my opinion, but 100
60?
mil, damn.
Not 60 million.
I would say in the big realm, but in the realm of 60 to 100. I think if you get 100, you're laughing. I mean,
I think
Jesus
he'll get 100.
Christ,
I think
100
he'll get
mil
100 mil for
for a
Salah.
33-year-old. How old is he?
he's-
33?
Yeah, but everyone just takes the last 6 games where he was like sooking and on the bench.
Yeah, but
and it's like-
is that not valid though? He didn't perform when it mattered. He didn't perform when it mattered, Press.
But I think for 32 games, this guy was just electric. We were sitting here watching that Arsenal game. He cooked you
He's
guys.
32 in like 2 weeks.
I think he's up there, one of some of the best forwards in the world.
But he's 32.
And what year left?
and
his-
Ronaldo's
year left in
40
his contract.
and
Year left
He's
in
going
his
to the same
contract.
league.
That's
as
it. You can't
He's
even
going
put
to. He's going
you
to the
can't
same
even put
league.
them in
He's
the
going to
same
the
bracket.
he's going to the same
Oh.
league though. That's what we're thinking, like Saudi, right? Saudi money. He's
I
8 years younger
wouldn't.
than him, going to the same league.
Yeah, I just don't think.
He's just got 32
It's a bit different.
Prem.
That you buy Ronaldo because you buy
Yeah.
the brand of Ronaldo. Like,
But you buy Salah and the whole.
don't get me wrong, I can't. I don't really. I can't,
Salah
I
doesn't
can't,
really have a brand,
Yeah, but
though.
I can't really
The
quantify.
Egyptian-
I can't really quantify Salah's brand in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And,
That's
and
it.
I'm sure it's
It's
massive. To be
different
completely
to
honest,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sure it's massive, but But in the Western world, Salah's brand is pretty negligible when it comes to big name players.
He's a football
player. But I wouldn't have a clue. In Africa, he's probably massive. Because he's obviously Muslim. These are all Muslim countries. He's probably the bloody icon there. Look at Mesut Ozil. How much do these guys love Ozil?
Yeah, they got it.
So you're probably right in the sense that he's probably got a humongous brand, and in terms of financially, it's probably not that bad of a decision in terms of shirt sales, etc. So look, Liverpool's a big watch over the off season and start of the new season. But the league is still exciting. I know it's a farmers league.
It is
farmers league. But I think there's still enough changes, enough going on. You've got enough mid-table action. You got some better teams coming up from Championship this year. So it's still the best. It's still the best league in the world.
Standing that hill, he's standing there.
Still the best league in the world.
I think it's gonna be such a 2-horse race, but
it's been a good season for I think on the couch. 4x in subs, I reckon. I reckon the subs count it's gone up 4 times.
With 4x in it.
I reckon it's 4x. I reckon about 125.
We'll take that.
Were we more or less back then? It couldn't have been much far off from that.
It couldn't have been 200. I don't believe it was at 200.
No, I'm not. But I thought it was like. Well, I thought it was less until you said, think about all the stuff we'd done prior to that. I thought, maybe we weren't actually that low.
I reckon it was at maybe 130, 140, probably.
Yeah, so it's basically 4 times, basically.
Well, even if it was 200, you've still doubled. 200.
And we've gone through some dead mid-season where they also died.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting, the start of the season. Like everyone's hyped for the start of a new Prem season.
Well, post-Euros, we'll
new transfers, new teams, new managers.
I also heard you turning this room into like a makeshift, like, run-down pub from like 1800 England.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like,
just
wooden
couple walls,
poles and brick.
Yeah. And we're gonna hire a bartender to sit there for an hour in the corner.
The stern of like a old rundown ship from from 1700. And just beer.
And just sitting here at a bar. We'll hire an extra to sit as a bartender, just doing this all the session.
I'm gonna need some of that Euros content for the plane, otherwise I might just
fall apart.
We're not even gonna get a new contract.
Mate, we're gonna need to be ready. I reckon the first week after Euros we'll be here and we'll have to grind transfer news.
Yeah,
because we have to.
That's one thing I'm good value for, a bit of transfer news.
Oh, it gets rogue on here when it gets transfer news time. I remember our transfer.
You know what I think's panned out really well though is so far, I reckon our Saudi chat has gone pretty well.
Yeah. It's aged quite well.
It's aged very well. I think it's aged better for you guys, but I think if you actually read deep what we all said back then, it was like they'll keep pumping money into it, but
it's not gonna
gain traction. So the traction it gains is going to be short-lived.
I think Salah could be the last gasp. They throw everything at Salah and it flops again.
I mean, the MLS as well, it's crazy. Like Neymar, so is Neymar going there?
Well, MLS, I think, has a lot more traction at the moment than the Saudi.
Well, I think it has organic traction. I think there's actually real
people
American
go to the games.
fans.
They're getting like 70, 80,000. Like the problem with the Saudi league is, when you were watching those, who did Gerard?
El Eti Fati.
Yeah, 900 people at a game. 900 people at a game. Like that's the problem where it's gonna.
Yeah, there's zero organic traction in the country.
Although the fans are terrible, some of their chants in the MLS, like there's no atmosphere. They actually go to the game.
But America likes sport.
Yeah,
Americans actually like sport, so they'll turn out.
They love sport. They love sports betting. They love beers. Of course, it's going to be nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like, and they do love sport heritage as well. Like, they really get around it as much as it's one-eyed and it's all US and nothing else. Like, if Lionel Messi is flying to your state,
that's the thing.
You're going to go.
It's carried by the big clubs. It's like the Lakers in the NBA. Yeah. It's carried by Inter, like Miami, and it's carried by LA, like all the big states, right?
Huge.
And we're probably not that exposed to it here because they're not stupid. Like, they're not going to waste their money marketing to an Australian audience when the games are on at the worst time ever. They're going to spend all their money marketing to the United States audience. Yeah. And then when it grows on itself and it can organically expand, it'll finally reach its way over here. I mean... Yeah, I think it's panned out pretty well for them so far, the MLS.
When you look at it, Inter Miami, the team they're building, they're going to bring in Neymar.
There's the team they're building, mate, a bunch of young generational stars.
The problem about it, though, is will it become like Saudi where like these two teams have massive teams?
I'll tell you why I disagree with you.
Hope it doesn't. No, I'm not like
the thing that's actually really good about the MLS I've been watching. There's actually a little bit. Yeah.
Fair play.
Not much, but a little bit of it. There's a lot of young Argentinian players from like Boca and River Plate and stuff that have come over because they just want to play with Messi.
Yeah, it's like next
or versus Messi.
Well, I think they draft from down there as well.
Oh, did they?
Well,
Yeah,
literally,
they give them they give them the college. Yeah, they give them
yeah.
like the college scholarships, and then they just draft them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of very good, like, they're signing for like 10 mil, 8 mil. These like 19 to 22-year-old Argentinians.
Yeah, that's where their best young talent comes
It's if
from.
you can draw more of that in the future. That's when it becomes
it's
a
like-
respectable league.
Yeah, that's where they're actually like going. Like, obviously as well. If like, I think some of them are Inter Miami. There's a couple that are actually really good at Inter Miami.
Bro, it's just the cringe bloody like American fan base.
Chance, man. Like,
Yeah.
fight and win, man. Just fight and win.
Fight and win.
Just fight and win.
Oh, that's what it was. Not fight and win, bro. That
what
was
it is.
hilarious.
Well, I guess
Fight and win was
we
cringe.
got the Copper there this summer.
Then the
World Cup in 2 years' time.
Which by the way,
We're going to be there.
are we going to be at
I'm-
like 50k stars?
We'll be there. Coke will sponsor us. We'll get like pitch side.
Coke and Sportsbet. So we're going to be the Australian.
But then I'll
we're
move.
gonna
But then I'll
be
move
who's
the
the
Coke.
betting- oh, okay.
Then I'll
So
move
you're gonna be
the
like
Coke
Australian
bottle.
Sportsbet,
Then I'll move the Coke
soccer.
bottle. 4 billion down in Chef.
Bro,
Chef
I'm
value.
going to move DraftKings and put Sportsbet.
Sports bet.
Wait, bro, I'm
Sports bet. I'm telling you.
Listen.
There's value here. There's value here.
bro. Give me a bonus bet.
Give me $50 bonus bets every game for
Bro,
the
no one
World
wants
Cup.
betting sponsorships. I want it. Give it to me. I'll
Give them
take
solid,
it.
give them the solid deal.
You want to ban the? You want to ban half? They want to ban halftime advertising. No. I say more. I say shut.
Forget the analysis of halftime of the goals. Just tuck on more adverts.
Yes.
Degenerate gambler to
Feed
my right
the
hand
blue.
side.
I feed the blue giant. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Bro.
degenerate gambler
Who's
to
gonna
my
fund?
right.
Who's gonna fund the corporates out there if it's not me? I mean, if you're not gonna fund them, like someone's got to feed the big corporate mounts. Like,
You know what? That's our goal for next year to get someone to sponsor us to go to the
I wonder
the
how many
World Cup.
subs you need to get like a bloody.
Probably 10 at least.
Or more than that. I think 50, 100.
When you said 10, I was like, bro, what? 10k. Yeah, I get 100k.
50, 100, yeah. So guys, you've
100K?
got to blow up the Euros. You have to.
100k, you could legit maybe get like a real like sports bet sponsorship and get
Yeah, or at least
to go out
flights there. Like,
Yeah,
I'll buy tickets.
Yeah,
just
legit,
give me,
I
give me
reckon
there.
100k you can get funded to go out
Yeah,
there.
just
Because
give-
mate, I mean, hypothetically, if you're at 100k by then, that means your channel's growing at a fast rate.
Yeah,
and there's
big
a lot of
season.
exposure to keep growing that. So
No pressure on us. PL 24, 25
I reckon today's chat probably 100k subs.
times by 10.
Yeah. It's actually a very good video. Not too much waffling, which is good.
I think we're back to just casual conversations rather than
Bro, it's just the casuals on the couch.
we're back at casuals on the couch. This is it. This is it. I reckon this is going to be a big episode this week because it's just this episode this week. Me and Nathan will be back for one more next week to wrap everything up. And then it's Euros. And then we'll be back as a proper like Monday crew again.
We're going to get on for a Euro prediction or not?
I have to try and sort it out at some point. But I'm taking time though. I need to
Yeah,
charge
obviously.
the
The Euros
batteries.
is a while away. Still.
Mate, he said a big week.
Yeah, it's still a good
But,
month away.
for this Monday, we'll definitely be back either week after Euros or maybe 2 weeks up when we can do the transfer and just wrap all the transfers up.
Yeah.
And then we'll get the ladders and we'll get the top 10s again. We'll be back doing that.
I really want to do a couple of, mate, you can just do shorter ones, like squad videos, as in like keep
Keep updated on
but
transfers
it's
and
like
stuff.
keep
Keep
sell.
buy sells. Yeah, you said that, didn't you? Yeah.
I really want to do that with like United, Arsenal,
We could do
Chelsea.
a few pods when it's just dead about we'll do 4 teams, like 5 teams at a time.
Bro,
across
I
4
reckon we
weeks.
can really just do the shorter videos.
Just do videos, yeah.
Yeah,
really-
like
okay, we're really
do
non-camera waffling now.
15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
That's it. And we actually we're gonna like we did
We
today.
actually-
We actually-
no,
Instead
like,
of just
like
say shit,
today,
we do it.
like today where we went through and it was like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
We'll just go. Each of us come in with maybe 5 players to buy, 5 players to sell of each team. We go through that.
I want like
and
a
that's it.
like a
The whiteboard.
2-inch, like a big iPad.
Oh, just a plasma
just like
screen.
like-
Just a touch.
That'd be sick.
Just starts expanding, pushing things.
Wait, funders.
Seriously, there's a top corner of this screen that
It's not sports bet, points bet.
We're taking
That's
it.
365.
We're not needs. We're not needs.
Gamble
Yeah, bro,
responsibly.
on the knees
we
for
are on the
anything.
knees, we are on the knees.
You know, that sums it up. That summed up the season quite well where we ended that. That is season 23, 24.
No, honestly, to anyone, if anyone's still here, and if anyone that's actually watched and like genuinely supports the channel, and like
It's here for the long run.
and
It's
if
here for
you
the long
genuinely
run.
enjoy the content, like I swear to God, like I personally like, a couple months ago, if it wasn't 100,000 subs or 200,000 subs, I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
But now having like the sub increase daily, and people actually if it's 100 views or 1,000 views, like knowing there's like one person on the other end of
Actually
the camera,
watching it,
like
yeah.
it genuinely like
Pretty sick.
yeah, it is a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and I still love doing this, and
We've gone
Beautiful.
from
if nothing else, I just get to watch the soccer and chat a bit of
chat.
shit
Exactly.
with my mates.
which is we're here on plastic chairs this time last year with like cramped into a small space.
Yeah, I think my back was hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
Was that
and-
this time last year?
We were on 3 of those plastic chairs. We had one camera, which was one of these
And
ones.
credit to this man, honestly.
We've done well.
credit
We've done
to
well.
this man.
Look at
And
the
we
setup here.
All
talk
we
about it
do
all the time.
is drive out here and
fuck up.
walk, talk a bit of shit. You know, like
Well, like, just look at the setup, how it's evolved. Like, you guys can't see it, obviously, but there's like hundreds of shirts behind the back.
and he paid for this one. Yeah, I have like 30% equity in the channel.
He signed some contract, which we definitely gave him that contract.
Yeah, like all the shirts there, cameras everywhere, lighting.
10-year deal.
Lighting, like, this is amazing. Like, probably doesn't even, the state that the, like, basically the setup
Yeah.
doesn't even need improvement really anymore.
We can pop
Obviously,
it up
there's
for a
always
bit.
something you can do,
We
but
can always.
Mate. I mean, the production of some of these elite channels now is like is nuts.
We're catching, so we'll catch slowly.
But yeah,
We'll build.
I think the next phase would be an awesome editor if anyone wants to
If
edit.
they want to save me
Approach-
2 hours, 4 hours a week, that'd be
approach it,
great.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Other
Thank you
than that,
guys.
We are really waffling.
You said it very well. Thank you guys for this year. I'll be back for some shorter videos before Euros and stuff like that. But until then, Euros will probably all four of us and just do smaller podcasts.
Yep.
But everyone will be back around the Euros time. You'll be heading off. So
yeah, so
you can give some live reactions
Yeah.
from Europe itself.
I'll flick one or two through.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, 5 stars Spotify, 5 stars Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you guys in about 3 or 4 weeks. Till next time, guys. See you later.